Best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Streaming live 24/7, playing your favorite artists.
Hey, this is Beyonce.
Hey, yo, it's Sean Paul.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is R. Kelly. Keep your radio right here.
This is 1021 FM.
Yes, we are live. Welcome back. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is the Shaun G Mecca show. All right. Man, we play some of the classics.
Yes.
I'm getting a lot of text messaging from folks out there saying, man, you are rocking right now.
Yes.
Listen, they don't make them like they used to. I can tell you that much.
No.
But, listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Welcome to the Shaun G Mecca show. I would like to thank everybody once again. We have a special guest who will be with us today. She is an American singer, songwriter, musician, record producer, recording engineer. Her name is Valerie Ghent. Valerie, welcome to the Shaun G Mecca show. How are you?
Thank you very much, Shaun and Mecca. It's such an honor to be here, and I'm just thrilled. Hello, everybody out there who's listening. This is fantastic.
Absolutely.
It is an honor to have you.
Yes.
Honestly.
It is.
Well, I was grooving. I've been grooving to all the Ashford and Simpson songs you just played. I felt like I was on the gig. and what you just played now, that Borgie intro, we started every show with that. So
wow.
Put me just in the perfect. I'm ready. We're like, we're on the stage now.
Listen, it is magic up here at 1021 FM. Shaun G Mecca show. Valerie Ghent is here, ladies and gentlemen. And we are so excited to have you. Valerie, you have been busy making music as a solo artist for the last 20 years.
Very, very busy.
Very busy.
Especially in the last couple of years of my own career. Before that, I have played with Ashford and Simpson for many, many years. And still with Valerie Simpson. So it's really an honor to have had that time, so many years working with, most legendary songwriters of our time, I think.
Absolutely.
And it's really encouraged me to pursue my own voice in songwriting and producing records, and having learned so much from them over the years, it's just I just love making records.
Yeah. Well, we love your music. I can say that. And for everybody out there listening.
You.
Valerie, you were born in New York City.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about where you're from and what was it like growing up in the neighborhood?
Wow, okay, so we're going back. Growing up, yes, I was born in New York City, right here in the heart of Manhattan, downtown Manhattan. Okay. And I grew up between Soho and the West Village in those two neighborhoods. And in those days, Soho was an unknown neighborhood. It didn't even have a name yet. People called it Lower Fifth Avenue.
Yeah.
Because nobody lived there. It was just abandoned buildings, and so it was a pretty wild place to grow up. There were a lot of musicians and artists and pioneers there who were moving into the empty lofts and making art and music. And my mom did a lot of concerts and galleries there. As the galleries started to open, she would organize concerts. And my father was an electronic musician, so he had a studio in our house. And my mother would have a lot of rehearsals, classical music rehearsals in our house. And then in our same building, Ornette Coleman lived, so the jazz saxophone player, very renowned as free jazz saxophonist.
Yes.
And so I'd fall asleep listening to his band rehearsing at night with some of the greatest jazz musicians of all time, too. So it was quite a mix of influences to grow up with as a young kid, you know? Everything from classical to free jazz to electronic to, you know, you name it.
Yeah.
Man.
So it was a really different time in New York. There was a lot more, I mean, to me, a lot of freedom for artists, and there was, you know, right in the heart of Manhattan, places where people could do that. As you know, it's changing now, and a lot of those parts of New York have moved out to different parts of the city.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's safe to say you were a part of the New York, the real New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, we all have our own real New York.
Sure,
That's what's so
sure.
amazing about the city, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was. I feel fortunate to have been in a really creative, interesting time.
Yeah.
But you know, it's evolved as the city keeps evolving, and that's what keeps drawing people here. You know.
Sure.
Yeah.
I read that you started playing the piano and the cello at a very young age. What was it like learning how to play those instruments, and how did it positively affect the start of your musical journey, Valerie?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I was always drawn to the piano primarily, and my parents decided to start me on the cello. So before, I mean, there's a picture of me when I'm about a year old, reaching up for the keys of the piano. It's a pretty cute photo. I'm not saying I could play it then. I was just reaching for it.
Right.
But my parents started me, so then I was always noodling around on the piano, and there was music in our house all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Then my parents started me on the cello at 5. My mom said I had cellist hands, and so I tried that for about 6 months, and then I rebelled, and I was like, I just want to play the piano. Why are you making me do this?
Yeah.
So then I played. I just really went to the piano, and I would sing melodies and play chords. So I took a few years of lessons and was mostly I'm self-taught, because I wanted to hear. I really wanted to play what I heard in my head, you know. So I'd play chords and bass with my left hand bass and chords, and then I'd sing. And that's really when I started writing.
Wow.
So it all pointed me on my journey, I suppose.
Oh.
Yeah, and you have music in your DNA, so it just makes sense that, you know, your mom and your dad both, you know, love music. So
yeah, I mean, I think certainly it's part of it. But to me, I think just having the environment of music all around.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of musician friends that I play with whose parents weren't musicians, but they grew up, you know, listening to music. Like their parents may have played music a lot. And they grew up like listening to Duke Ellington or Aretha Franklin or whoever, and going, "Oh my God, that's what I want to do." So, I think it's both. I think it's why I think in education it's so important. It's just so important to have music around young children and children as they're growing up.
I agree.
So you would say, I mean, it's quite evident that someone who's interested in playing instruments at such a young age must have had a calling to make music professionally. Who would you say the gift? I mean, I know you spoke about your moms and your dad. Who would you say the gift come from more out of the two musically?
Really, from both of them. I mean, I can't say. I mean, from my father, he did a lot of electronic music, as I said a little while ago.
Yes.
And so he showed me how to use tape machines and how to solder things. And so I was always in the studio kind of recording things and seeing, you know, how to splice tape and edit things together because it was cool.
He's
so
handy.
It's like, I mean, it's like the environment, you know, that's what I was shown how to do when I was young. And I thought, hey, this is cool.
Yeah.
And my mom, I mean, both of them, there was just music from both. So I can't really say it was more than one or the other. It's the whole melange.
Nah. I saw a video of you singing in French. Where did you learn to speak? Where did you learn to see? Yeah. Where did you learn to speak French?
That video is funny. So that video is the very first time I ever sang in French. And I went out on a big limb and I was like, I'm just going to try this. So It's a bit of a long story, so I'll give you the short version. That
Okay.
song was written by my great uncle, who was born in. Actually, this is a long story. He was in Paris at the time, and my mother was born in Paris. My mother then came to the U.S. As a child with her parents. But this song was lost, and it was given to me. I don't know how to make this story
Listen,
shorter.
take your time. Take your time.
Short.
Yeah, take your
Lee,
time.
I'll just say, why don't I just say this song reunited me with all this long-lost family in Europe.
Nice.
People I never knew existed. I learned this song that was written by my great uncle. I sang it. The guy put it on YouTube, and I said, okay, just make sure you put his name, because the songwriter is Eugene Cavos, and he wrote this song. And because of that, my family in Europe found me.
Nice.
Wow.
So that particular song like brought my family, long lost family, like I'm talking 40 years, and not knowing people even existed. And then that song reunited us. So
That's
because of
special.
that song, I've met, I don't know, so many cousins in France and in Italy. It's crazy. It was just an amazing one of these. Okay, this power is bigger than me. I'm just letting it do what it does.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
it
Wow.
was really and now that I'm touring in France a lot more, I do sing that song in France quite a lot, and it's a really beautiful song called "Refrain de mon enfance," which means the song or the song of my childhood, really.
Did that have anything to do with your album named The French Sessions?
Yes, it has to do with both Velour and the French Sessions album,
Okay.
actually. I've been about 5 years ago. I met some wonderful musicians in France, and we started performing there. And actually met them because of, once again, Ashford Simpson. So you can see there's a theme here in my life.
Yes.
But you probably know Nick and Val opened a venue called Sugar Bar here in New York.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there was a guy, Pierre Seville, came from France to play at Sugar Bar. And Val kept telling me, you should meet Pierre. And every time Pierre would come to New York, I'd be in France. So finally we met, and we started performing together in France. And I thought the band sounded so great, we decided to record a few songs. And a few songs became a few more songs. And that became half of the Velour album. So
Okay.
that the song "Linger" that you mentioned earlier, we actually recorded in France.
Yes,
and
you guys have to check that song out. It's
Yeah.
so good.
So
Yes.
half the songs on the Velour album were recorded in France, and the other half were recorded in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
And
that's
then we decided to go with the French spelling. The word velour is, you pronounce it the same in English or French, but the S is the French spelling. So my friends there are like, you have to put the S.
Right.
yeah. It's not going to be
If you want it
French.
to be legit.
Yeah. Well, I was going to
And
greet
then,
you.
then that became the French Sessions album too. That was the
Oh,
next
nice.
one that came out last year.
Nice. Well, that's, I started to say to myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to greet her with Comment allez-vous?
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
Actually, I think we have.
Shaun.
Listen, I think we have some people. I should say merci.
Okay.
Bien.
Yeah.
But I do believe.
All I'm going to say is we.
I
That's
know,
it. That's
I
what
was-
you're getting out of me.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
great.
practice. I practice.
Hey, bonjour.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you, Shaun. That's awesome.
No,
Well,
absolutely.
I think I'm pretty sure that we have some friends of mine in France who are listening to us right now.
Yes.
Good.
So I
Awesome.
should say bonjour, mes amis. Ça va?
Yeah, we.
Well, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Valerie Ghent live on the telephone right here at the Shaun G Mecca show. If you're just tuning in, okay. You know what? I want to hear.
Yeah.
Some music. All right, and
Let's hear some.
Yeah, let's hear that New
Let's-
York City streets.
yes,
Woo, baby.
let's hear some
Yeah,
New York
we
City
like that
streets.
over here.
This is
I'm glad.
an amazing song. Tell us a little bit about the song, who wrote it, produced it, and just give us a little information about the song, because this is one of the songs that we play over and over again up here on the station, and just let the people know a little bit about the record.
Well, first, a big thank you for playing New York City Streets so much here on 1021 FM.
We love it.
I wrote New York City Streets, and both the lyrics and music, and produced it. We recorded it in New York, and some of the rhythm section on this song are from the Ashford and Simpson band. So we played together for a really long time. The bass player is Tinker Barfield, who played with Luther, Vandross, and Nick and Val, and zillions of other great people. And the drummer, Kevin Johnson, also played with us with Ashford and Simpson. And the vocalists that are singing background with me, Alpha Anderson, used to sing. She was one of the first singers with Chic. Then you have Dennis Collins, who sang with Roberta Flack for a long time, Keith Flewitt, and myself. So we're on the background. And it's a song about New York that I just, as a native New Yorker, I really wanted to share what I love about New York and share the energy and that electricity of the city with people. And, everywhere I go when I tour, people say, "You're from New York?" I love New York. Like all over the world, people love New York. So it's my gift. It's like I'm just wanting to share my gift to you of my experience here in New York. So I hope you love it. I'm glad you guys do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we feel it. We get the feeling.
So
and
much
because
swag.
we're from there, we definitely can relate.
Yeah.
That's great. Right?
Yeah.
Just walking on New York
City Street.
New York City Street. Yeah.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is New York City Streets. Valerie Ghent. You keep it locked. This is 1021 FM. We be right back.
New York City Street.
This is great, you guys.
Energy is coursing up from the street. People walking by as the traffic flies. Another red light. I think they feel the heat, think they feel the beat now. Coming up, coming off of the street. The city's calling. Love, I hate the city, but it's where I was born. As beautiful at night as it is in the dawn. Well, I can tell ya, this place that I call home is in my bones. I couldn't live without. Walking on New York City streets, there's nothing like it. Nothing makes me feel so free as when I'm walking on New York City streets.
New York City Street.
I feel free on New York City streets. And the Bronx, Staten Island and Queens, Manhattan all together, it's a city of dreams for around the world. Tourists looking up, checking out the skyscrapers, cause this is a place where you're gonna find out if you can make it. This place that I call home is in my bones. I couldn't live without. City Street.
New York City Street.
There's nothing like it. Nothing makes me feel so free as when I'm walking on New York City Street.
New York City Street.
I feel free on New York City Street. I could go anywhere, walk until dawn, sit on a park bench, writing you a song, head for the river, stare at the sky. I could go anywhere, cause this city is alive. Walking on New York City like it. Nothing makes me feel so free as when I'm walking on New York City street.
New York City Street.
I feel free on New York City street. When I'm walking on New York City street.
New York City Street.
There's nothing like it. Nothing makes me feel so free as when I'm walking on New York City street.
New York City Street.
I feel free on New York City street. When I'm walking on New York City street.
New York City Street.
There's nothing like it. Nothing makes me feel so free as when I'm walking on New York City street.
New York City Street.
I feel free on New York City streets. I feel free on New York City streets. I feel free on New York City streets.
The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
I'm sure.
Yes, that was Valerie Ghent, New York City Streets. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. We are back live and direct. And we're just having a good time up here.
Oh,
yes. You know,
having a great time.
Yeah.
we have the amazing.
The amazing.
Now, we were talking behind the scenes. And I got to be honest, and I got to say this because at least if I hear it again, I won't forget. You know, you gotta make sure I hear correctly so I don't forget these things. I was looking for audio to make sure that I was pronouncing Valerie's last name correctly, ladies and gentlemen. And she said it's okay. But just for the record, how do you pronounce your last name, Valerie?
You would like me to say so?
Yes.
My name is, hello everybody, Valerie Ghent.
Valerie Ghent.
So it's Ghent. Yeah, so it's like a harder good, I guess. Ghent.
No.
Yeah.
There it is. Valerie Ghent.
There it is.
All right.
Valerie
Look,
Ghent.
it's a beautiful thing. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are back. Shout out to Mecca. Yeah, you know, you guys are having a lot of fun up here.
Shout out to me.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody tuned in from all over the world. Okay. Man, that was New York City Streets. Valerie Ghent. Beautiful song. Very fun song. You know, you can just tell on this record you're just flowing. Your swag is on 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we had a blast recording that one. And, you know, we made a great video for it, too.
Yeah.
We filmed all over the city, all 5 boroughs, to make a video for New York City Street.
Nice.
So,
You got to. You just have to.
I mean,
Yes.
if you didn't see the video, you need to go check it out because she's you know, in the video she's just having so much fun. It's almost like when you watch the video, you automatically is just, if you're from New York, you really have to understand New York. Us New Yorkers, we deal with a lot of vibe. Like we could almost go back in time in our minds and feel what the city felt like in the 80s, in the 70s.
Yeah.
You know, and we have that kind of connection to history and time, and it has a lot to do with music, and music is what connects our memory to time, if that makes sense to you guys out there.
Yes.
And so it is I mean, it's definitely a New York thing, just speaking from a New Yorker point of view. And so that's how we feel. And New York City Streets is one of those songs. I'm a lot younger, but I do appreciate growing up in the 80s and listening to music around the house. hearing all kinds of music. I do appreciate music from, back in the day, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s. So when I listen to New York City Streets, it reminds me of the old New York, but it's done in such a beautiful, new, fresh way and fun way. It's just amazing, man. New York City Streets.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, Shaun, you're making me get teary now.
Yes, it is such.
That's how I feel about New York too. I mean, I remember those, just that energy and the music, and I mean, the band I listened to more than anybody else was Earth, Wind and Fire. So it's like that energy, the horns, the backgrounds, the groove. I don't know. I'm really happy you love New York City streets because it's
yeah.
Well,
and you don't have to be a New Yorker, like a native New Yorker, to enjoy it and feel like, oh, if I've never been there, I'm gonna go check that place out. Everybody wants to come to New York. We all know that anyway.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about New York. You can come here, and be here for a day and say, I'm in New York.
Yeah, you get that feeling. As soon as you get there, it changes your whole vibe.
Yeah, that's true.
It does. Especially New York City.
Yes. So for me, the song, I'm a native New Yorker and it's for us, but it's also for everybody who's ever wanted to come to New York.
Right.
He came here 10 years ago and can't wait to come back.
Right.
People who just came through, a couple times, or people who've been here for half their life, or it's for everybody. And what I really love, some of the comments on YouTube, people are like, oh, your song makes me feel like I'm in New York.
Yeah.
Or
it does.
Jump on a plane right now and go.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you're just having so much fun in the video. It's just so much fun. Like you can, if you're just looking at it for the first time, you're just like, man, dang, I want to be there. Like she's just enjoying it.
Yeah, she's really loving her New York City.
You're selling New York. I think the mayor need to give you the key or something, because you're selling it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
We do have to get the mayor to see it. That's true.
Absolutely.
Send it off to.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you know what? Since we are in the New York state of mind, this is the part of the show where the host and the guests sing Frank Sinatra karaoke with your boy Shaun G. Ladies, are you ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Who goes first?
Who's going first?
You just gotta sing along.
Okay.
And don't get us wrong. We may not know all the words, so I'm just going to sing as we go. Start spreading the news.
The news.
I'm longing
You're
to
leaving today.
I want
to be a part of
New
it.
York,
New York, New York.
These blue brown shoes. I don't know the words, so I'm going as I go.
They're longing to stray.
New York,
New York, New York.
I wanna wake up in a city that never sleeps.
That doesn't sleep.
And find a king on the hill, top of the peak. All right. These little brown shoes.
They're melting away.
Every part of it. New York.
I can't hear the music at all.
Yes.
Let's sing with me. I'll make it.
You don't know the words.
Anywhere. It's up to you.
New York.
New
York.
New York. That was
We're going to come to the studio and do it together, Valerie.
I think it'd be better if I could.
Yeah, so we can do it right.
Hey.
Because we know you can sing.
Come by the studio.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That was fun.
That was awesome.
We didn't know all the words, and we was all offbeat, and everybody was all over the place.
I'm sure Valerie knows the words.
I don't know all of them. I would actually have to print them out, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think that was fun. That was fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. I haven't done that. And you know what? I don't care how old you are. That song still does it too. Like whenever someone sings about New York, and that we've heard, they got the Jay-Z and Alicia Keys version.
Right.
It just, especially if you're a New Yorker, you feel that song. You feel it. So any song about New York, especially if you're a native, you just love it because you can relate. You know that feeling. You know what they're singing about.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's a timeless classic.
Yes. It'll never get old.
No. And the other version that I really like, do you remember Brenda Russell's version? Not her version, but she has a song called Walking in New York.
No.
Walking in New York. It's really cool and jazzy. It's got an awesome vibe. I think the video looks like it's in Brooklyn. I can't tell exactly.
Oh, we definitely have to look her up.
You gotta check it out.
I mean,
it's great.
No disrespect to
Brenda
her,
Russell's.
but I don't think it's better than New York City streets.
That one is just so awesome.
It's big enough for lots of songs about it.
Well,
I
just
love Brenda too as a songwriter.
Yes, absolutely. Much love to her. Well, since we in that area, and we hearing that Nina Simone, she's being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Valerie, what are your thoughts about that?
That's a surprise question. Well, I'm guessing you're asking me because you know that I worked with Nina Simone.
Yeah.
And there is really no one ever before or since like Nina. She is just, I say in the present tense. I can't even say past tense talking about Nina. She still is. Because she is such an amazingly influential musician and writer and singer and activist and politically and everything else. And her personality is it's timeless. So I'm glad she's being honored. I think it's a little peculiar in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I don't really know what equivalent exists. There's no, there's jazz halls of fame that people are in. Nina wanted to be she wanted to be recognized as a classical musician. And that was a big frustration for her. Even though, I'm sure we don't have to go into her biography, but
sure.
So I think it's really an interesting thing. I'm glad she's being honored and more recognized because of the recognition she has. I think she deserves more than is possible for us to give her.
Right.
She's just amazing. I can't even say enough how much of, I can't really say an influence. I mean, she's an influence on all of us musically, but the strength of her personality and the statements she made about racism and America, and that she chose to live in France, which is where I actually worked with her. It's really powerful stuff. So to me, Nina's still alive. She's in our soul, she's in our DNA at this point.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, sure, absolutely.
Yes, it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You were on the David Letterman show singing backup with Valerie Simpson. What was the experience like?
Oh, it's fantastic. I love Val. I mean, I've worked with her now for close to 30 years. So we're family. I mean, and so when we did the Letterman show, we did a cover. I'm going to sing a cover. They wrote the song. Yes. A version of Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
Yes.
And it's a funny story. Ain't No Mountain High Enough, of course. Who doesn't?
Yes.
And there's so many versions of the song. But there was a band in the 70s called Stuff that were great session musicians, and they did an instrumental version of Ain't No Mountain High Enough, just with drums and piano. It's phenomenal.
Nice.
So when Valerie was recording her solo album, and I was engineering this is in 1999, 2000, when we made Val's solo album. It was the same time we went to France to record Nina Simone. So your question actually is great because they're all interconnected. Valerie wanted to play the version that Stuff did of the acoustic piano with the drums, and she wanted to do that on her record with her playing the piano part. And then all of us at the end coming in and going, "Ain't no mountain high enough." So that was one of the things we did on Lemonade.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Nice. Well,
she's an amazing piano player. I mean, Nina and Val, oh my God, they're just
wow.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
I feel so blessed to have been with so many incredibly talented and inspirational people in my life.
Wow. It was kind of ironic when I was actually watching that performance, and I was like, man, it hit me. I said, oh, Valerie and Valerie. How significant was that when you met her? How significant was that when you met her for the first time?
Oh, it was huge. I came home and there was a message on my phone machine, because in those days we still had phone machines.
That's right.
Right? And it's blinking and you press the play button and there's, "Hello, this is Valerie Simpson." It's like, what?
Yeah.
I wish I had saved that message. Nick used to, after I was working with them for a while, he would call us his two Valeries.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which was very sweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I started working with them as their engineer, actually, because they had a recording system called the Synclavier, which I don't know if you remember, was one of the first digital recording systems. So long before there was Pro Tools and Logic and
Fruity Loops,
all the software that we have now
yes,
to record music, there was this system called the Synclavier and the direct-to-disc system. And I knew how to use it because I had worked for 4 years with a record producer named Mike Thorne. And I apprenticed with him as as an assistant and in the studio, making records. So Nick and Val were looking for someone to run their Synclavier. And that happened to be me. So Valerie had called, and I went up to meet her and Nick, and I did a session with them, and the rest was history. They just kept calling me back. So it's been fantastic. And then a few years after that, they knew I sang and played piano also. So they had a very amazing live band, and they didn't need me in the band. But after a few years, they needed a substitute to come in and sing, and then somebody to play. And I was like, Val asked me if I'd come and do that. So then I started playing with them and performing with them live. And that was, wow, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been an amazing, musical family to be part of. It's just amazing.
Well, it's history, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful thing, and I don't even know what to say. I'm just like, my eyes are open wide.
You're truly a force to be reckoned with. You can do everything.
One of the most amazing projects that I worked with Nick and Val on was we did an album with Maya Angelou, called the Been Found album.
Yeah.
And it took about 4 years to make that record. And in a way, that record inspired me to make my first record. So I was making my first record at the same time as working with Nick and Val and Maya on the Been Found album. They were kind of going along at the same time. Just the experience of working with Maya Angelou and performing with her it's another, amazing.
Wow.
There's words. I can't even explain what it was like to be on stage with her. It's like the band is playing, Ashford Simpson, we're doing our set, and then in the middle of the show, Maya, we'd do a kind of interlude, and Maya would come out, and the audience would see her for the first time. Mm-hmm. And even as I tell you now, it's like the hair on my arms rising up.
Wow.
The people, when they saw Maya, like the love they had for her, it hit the stage in this big rush. It was just incredible.
Wow.
And she just walked to the front, and I don't know if you ever saw her speak live or perform, but her presence was so beautiful. So beautiful.
Amazing.
So,
I mean,
that record was the Been Found album. You know, it really it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, sure.
Do you know? Have you heard it?
No, but I could just imagine with the way you're describing it that it would be.
It really was, because
some things are timeless and people are not ready for it yet. So
I mean, because
it's stand the test of time.
They wrote some of the songs together, and Nick and Val would sing, and then in the verses, Maya would speak. So it was kind of like, and the radio is like, well, it's not, it's got spoken word,
right?
It's not rap, but it's not spoken word, and it's not songs.
What do we do with this?
Yeah. So it makes sense.
But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, the late, great Nick, I mean, what was it like being around him, singing with him, being around him, being in his presence? What was that like?
Fantastic. It was beautiful. I mean, being with both of them was beautiful.
Sure.
Being with them in the studio, recording and writing, or on stage live, or just hanging out, afterwards. There's a song on my album, on the Velour album, that actually was inspired by Nick, because we were in the studio and he was about to go in the vocal booth, and he turned to me and said, "I'm about to do the wrong thing, but it's the right time." And I said, "Nick, that sounds like a lyric." And he said, "You think so?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, write it. Go write that song. Like, you take it down and you write that song." And that became part of the chorus of the song "It's Got to Be You" on the Velour album.
That's nice.
Wow.
That's nice.
There's that part of the chorus where it's, "I don't want to do the wrong thing, but it's the right time. I don't want to do the wrong." So that was what I did with that line of Nick's.
That's nice that you can add his memory to, as a touch to. Yeah, that's really nice.
I gotta try that, Mecca.
Memory.
I gotta try that, Mecca.
You have to try what,
Let's
Shaun?
do Two Tall Midgets. I feel good right now. I gotta try
that. We'll have a sit down and we'll discuss it. Because if I made a song over everything you say,
man, that is beautiful.
But I do believe you can. I do believe you can do that, though. You can make songs out of almost anything.
Anything.
That is true. Yeah.
That is true. I mean, that's when it's natural. It's right at the moment, and greatness comes up like that. Valerie, what are some of your most memorable moments singing backup for Ashford and Simpson? What are your most memorable moments?
Some of the most memorable moments. Wow. Well, I think I may have told you one of them with the night with those nights with my.
Yeah.
Were certainly some of them. Wow. There's so many great. There are a couple of jazz festivals that we did down in the Caribbean, St. Lucia Jazz Festival. That were great. There was one night where it just started raining and the people stayed anyway. And I think that we went to Tokyo and did a week there at the Blue Note, and that was phenomenal. So I hadn't been to Japan before, so that was my first time going there. But I think some of the most memorable moments, we've done a lot of big shows with a full band, like on a festival stage, but later on we started doing these smaller, more intimate shows.
Yeah.
Like at Feinstein's here in New York.
Best.
And those shows at Feinstein's, and then we did some at this place, the Raz Room in San Francisco. It's like when you're in a smaller venue and the people are right there. I mean, they could literally touch you. And you're looking at them right in the face and the eyes, they're right. And those to me are some of the most magical moments, because you're really connecting with people and they're right there with you.
Yeah.
And I feel that way with my own show. We've done shows on a big stage, but when it's close enough where I can really connect with the people, I really love those kinds of shows.
I'm going to ask you a question.
I agree.
From a artist's perspective, because I used to make music and I write and do stuff like that. I found that because I watched you perform, and I see that you are the type of performer who gets excited when the crowd is there.
Oh yeah.
So, and I always, when I used to make music and go out there and perform, I used to say, if there's no one in the crowd, you're not going to get the best of me. But if the crowd is big and is thick, I'm going to really show out. Do you find that you are that type of performer? You need the crowd to give you that energy, because some people get nervous when there's a big crowd of 10,000, 15,000 people, just watching them. It's like a big giant staring at them. They may run away. But do that excite you? Does that excite you when you go up to perform the bigger crowds?
Well, the biggest crowds I played for were when I toured with Deborah Harry from Blondie. Remember Rapture and
yeah,
great disco hits.
How many?
So I toured with her, and I think the biggest show we did was at the Meadowlands.
Wow!
And that's 80,000 or something.
Oh
yeah,
my gosh!
That's
that's crazy.
The thing is, the hardest thing about the big arena shows is getting used to the sound, because there's this long slap back. Like you say something and it goes out, and then it comes back a couple seconds later.
Right.
So that's hard on stage. You just have to get used to that.
Right.
But the odd thing about the big shows is, that's what I mean. You can't see any. The people are there. You can see them, but they're so far away from you.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of experience.
It is.
So, I mean, sure, of course, we get nervous before a show. You're like, oh my God, it's too tough. But I think a little nervousness is good.
Yeah.
Yes, always.
It gets you kind of ready to perform. I mean, a lot of nervousness can be, and for a lot of people, it can be really hard.
Yeah.
But I've always loved performing.
We can tell. We see that.
Yeah.
We see that.
Definitely.
I mean, having said that, when I started performing my own music, I was really, really nervous. And it was hard at first.
Okay.
Because I'd always played with other people's bands.
Right.
So I'm with Deborah Harry. Everybody's looking at Deborah Harry. They might be looking at me for a minute, but they're mostly looking at her.
Right.
So, and the same with Ashford and Simpson. Really, they're watching all of us because we're more of a band, but we're really wanting to see Nick and Val. So, for me, when I stepped up front as a solo artist, and especially when I started to get out from behind the keyboard, because as a keyboard player, it's easy to stay back there and play the piano, keyboards, and you never stand up and run around.
Yeah.
But Valerie Simpson really encouraged me to do that. She's like, you need to get out from behind those keyboards and just sing. Just get up there, take the mic, and just sing. And at first, I was terrified. It was like, what do I do with my hands?
Right, there's no piano. Right.
So it's a matter of, for all of us, doing what we might be a little afraid to try, and going out on a limb and trying it, like singing in Friends for the first time.
Yeah.
Or singing, just to push ourselves to get out of our comfort zones and try things. So I always encourage people to do that. I ran a songwriters night in New York for 14 years, and I kept pushing people, like, get out there, do something you've never done before.
Right.
If you've never played it on guitar, play it on guitar. If you've never played it a cappella, try it a cappella.
Yeah. Go do the stanky.
Yeah, that's how you stay fresh, too.
Hey, Mecca. Yeah. Hey, Valerie, go do the stanky leg. Do something different.
Gosh, that's Shaun G.
Hey, that is beautiful. Yeah. Well, hey, 2012 single Love Enough for a Lifetime. We're going to play that song. We're going to do a little back to back here. We're going to play Love Enough for a Lifetime from the Day to Day Dream. It hit number 1 on iHeartRadio. And we're also going to play Supernatural Thing. And we're going to talk a little bit about those two songs when we come back on how and why those songs were so popular. All right. We'll
I
be
know
back.
why.
We have Valerie Ghent live on the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, you keep it locked. We be right back. This is Love Enough for a Lifetime. Beautiful record. Keep it locked.
This is 1021 FM.
Mixing non-stop.
Turn this up.
Live in the mix.
So you would be the one, baby, baby, baby.
station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
That was amazing. Man, thank you and welcome back to the Shaun G Mecca show. That was two beautiful songs back to back.
Yes.
One of the singles, Love Enough for a Lifetime and Supernatural by Valerie Ghent. And, you know, I wanted to ask this question about those two singles. 2012 single Love Enough for a Lifetime from the Day to Day Dream hit #1 on iHeartRadio, as were added nationwide on Sirius XM, national radio in Germany, Switzerland, the BBC, and it also hit 100 plus radio stations across the EU, UK, AU. All right, Valerie's single Supernatural made the top 40 on MBT Music Radio in Germany. And, you know, it was two singles that received so much honorable mention. Valerie, what was it about, is it about these two singles that really went out there and just got so much mention and really did it for you? What is it about these two singles that are so special that you think really did it?
Well, to me, I love to sing about love. So
that's beautiful.
I can't tell, you know, to me, it's the groove, the groove, and it's love.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the band that I had to record both those songs, you know, they're just phenomenal musicians. And we went in the studio and we cut live, meaning I was playing the piano and singing live while the drummer and the bass player and the guitar player were all playing. So we all played together and we played live.
Wow.
And for both of them, I thought I was putting down what we call a guide vocal or a scratch vocal, and then I would sing it again later, you know, to make it better.
Yeah.
And in both cases, I kept the vocal that just happened when we recorded. So there was a magic to those sessions that I think was captured. So it's the groove, it's the love, and it's the magic of the moment when we recorded. I think something really special happened.
Wow.
And I think I think that's why it reaches people, because they feel there's this like live energy of all these musicians playing together. Something greater than all of us happens when we do that. So I think maybe that's why, but maybe you could tell me.
Yeah, two great songs. Mecca? No, Mecca, you were saying something? By the way, shout out. Before you say that, let's give a shout out to Portia Renee on the check-in, who was listening out there, and she said, you know, it's a great interview, and she's tuned in and she's enjoying the show. So thank you, and shout out to Portia Renee for tuning in and checking out the interview. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Mecca.
No, I was telling Valerie off air that, you know, you can feel what she's feeling in the song, you know, and then all the great musicianship, you can hear it, all the instruments playing, you know, you don't get that in the music you hear today. And when you do, you love it because of that. It has that old time feel. It's not overdone, too much, too loud. You can hear all the instruments playing, her voice. You can feel what she's feeling, you know, when she's singing. It's great. And that's what you call music, you know, and Love Enough for a Lifetime is actually when I started listening to her stuff, I'm like, oh, I love this song. This is it. And then I listened to more and I was like, Linger, that's it.
Oh man, you know what?
I listened to more and I'm like, 30 Days, that's the one. Like it's like, you know, you really have to go and check her stuff out, because she's it. She has a great voice. She uses good background music, and the titles and the lyrics. It's good stuff. It's adult music.
Man, Mecca.
Yeah.
Mecca. I feel what you're saying. You want to write that?
He's making fun of me right now. You know that.
I feel it too.
But that's how I was at work. You know, I'm at work and I'm supposed to be working, but I'm listening to her and I'm at my desk and I'm like, oh my God, this song is so nice. Like, not paying attention to anything else. And that's the kind of music you want, that takes you, you know, that zones you out. You know, like where you're just into what you're hearing right now. And that's what it was. And you guys, this is a real treat. We're learning. You're learning.
Sure.
Valerie, check out. I'm telling you, good stuff.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I tell you what, I'm feeling your words so much. I want to put them to a beat and record it. Okay.
I think we should. We should do that. We should make a song out of what Mecca just said.
What she just said. I was feeling it so much, Mecca. I was in a trance.
Oh my goodness.
This is great. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, we have Valerie Ghent here. Gent, excuse me. Valerie Ghent here on the line, live, 1021 FM. This is the Shaun G Mecca show. And I have 5 names. Valerie, 5 names, and 5 names of artists you toured, performed, recorded with. Give me 1 or 2 words that best describe them. Are you ready?
Oh wow, this is like putting me on the spot. All right, let's see. This is great. It's like total improv. Here we go.
Are you ready? Okay. Nina Simone.
Unforgettable classic.
Dr. Maya Angelou.
Phenomenal woman.
Yes.
Sorry, that's the first thing. You said 1 or 2 words, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Roberta Flack.
Oh wow, Roberta Flack. Gently soft. Oh wow, I can't think. What's Roberta? What are my words for Roberta? She's
uniqueness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, timeless, unique, but quiet. There's a quiet in Roberta, and that's the word. I'm having trouble finding the right word.
That's okay.
But there's this quiet in her that just touches your heart.
There you go. Billy Preston.
Outer space, funk, best New Year's Eve of my life was playing with Billy Preston, playing Outer Space at midnight. That was it.
There you go. Luther Vandross, the late, great.
Smooth, rich, and timeless again. Luther, my God. When I think actually the word velour, I actually think of, all right, clothing. I also think of Luther. I think of clothing, but just smooth. The richness of his voice, the smooth, personality, just beautiful.
Yeah, Luther.
Valerie Ghent, thank you so much. It was a pleasure and an honor to have you on our show. We thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Shaun, and thank you, Mecca. This has been, when you invited me to come on the show, I was like, this is going to be fun. I had no idea it was this much fun. So I'm ready to come back anytime. We can do more of these games.
Always welcome.
You're always welcome.
Yes, we will definitely have you back.
Oh,
so
man.
I just want to thank you both for, playing we just need more radio like you playing live, music and encouraging people to listen and really feel the music, that's what we need to connect with people, and through music is one of the most powerful things to do.
Yeah.
So I thank you for your efforts. I know how much hard work it is, and I really appreciate what both of you are doing for music. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
And thanks to everybody out there who's listening.
Yes.
It's
an honor. Valerie Ghent, ladies and gentlemen, it was amazing. We continue to play great music, and believe me, we are no strangers to good music, great music of all sounds. I told a person one day, I'm the type of person, you can play a song for me and it's in Japanese. I'll tell you if it's a hit song, because music is a universal language. You may not know what the person's saying, but you can listen and say, man, if I bet this is a hit record because it just sounds so good. I don't know what they're saying, but it sounds good. So,
it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good. Mm-hmm. You're right. Yep.
So there it is. Well, thank you once again. Man.
Thank you so much, Valerie. We appreciate it. We will definitely have you back on again.
Okay, I look forward to it.
Absolutely.
And Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well.
To you, sweetheart.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
Love. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Love. All right.
Okay.
This is 1021 FM.
Mix. In the mix.
Hi, this is Britney Spears.
What up, this Jay-Z.
This is Jennifer Lopez.
The mix. With the hottest DJ.
This is 1021 FM.